This assignment is hard light creates contrast. So for this assignment, you're going to be taking a series of pictures that show contrast in some way. And contrast, if you remember, is basically one of the principles of design. So if we're looking at contrast here, basically what that means is contrast is putting two different things next to each other. So in this case, it's going to be light against dark. But it could be in artwork, a number of things like rough against smooth and some of the other things that are listed here. Straight lines against wavy lines is one I use in class all the time. So for us in photography, we're going to be looking at how contrast creates impact in that way and how we can use lighting to create that in a photograph. So what you see right here is a Padlet that I set up for the class, and you're going to end up putting your work in the Padlet. So basically, as the Padlet loads, you should be able to see the assignment. I've got it right here, and a plus sign, which is going to allow you to add your artwork. So this is just an example that I put in here showing one picture of hard light, and I had gotten that from the internet when I was just looking at examples of other pictures that were showing hard light and contrast. So I was actually just on my cell phone camera at home. Today happens to be like a really stormy, windy day. So I took some pictures inside with a very simple desk lamp that I had. So that was able to give me some contrast. But as you scroll through my examples that I put into the post, you're going to see that there is natural light being used in some of these photographs. So these are samples from some very well-known photographers of how they're using some very extreme or very contrasty lighting to create those sharp edges in the photograph. So shadows are really strong here if we look. And you might want to do this if you're waiting for a day where the sun is coming out. Early in the morning, you might find some really sharp shadows to help you create contrast, or at the very end of the day. So this photograph to me looks like it could have been taken at the very end of the day as the sun is setting. But again, it's some pretty strong lighting, and that is creating some sharp shadows and giving you the contrast here. So you can feel free to go through those and see how other photographers use that. Okay, one last shot here. So I've already taken my pictures, and one thing I did shooting on my cell phone is I have the Photoshop app on my phone. So if you are interested in using Photoshop Express, I actually got Photoshop Express. I believe I went and got it in the App Store. So here I'm at adobe.com. And I'm just looking for specifically Photoshop Express. So basically it's a set of filters. This is a free app, and you can use filters to accentuate your photographs in any way. You don't have to do that. You can just do straight photography without any editing at all for this. That's the beauty of, this whole assignment, is that I'm not asking you to do any editing, but if you would like to use some kind of app that you like, or even just some regular contrast editing in whatever cell phone app that you might have, then you can certainly do that. And that might help you accentuate a little bit of the contrast. So when you go into contrast in any camera editor, that's going to make your darks darker and your light areas lighter. So if you want to push that a little bit in your work, you could certainly do that. So I already have my pictures taken, and I'm going to just insert them into the Padlet. So if I hit the plus sign, then I'm going to be able to go to upload a file. And I'm going to pick a file. I have things on my desktop. And so my first photograph was a pretty simple one that I had of my cable, my electrical cable for my lamp, just running down the side of my wall, getting plugged in into my outlet. But I shone my light on that area to create that contrast. So I have the shadow of my cord projecting against the wall as I'm shining that light on the cable itself. And then there's a cabinet right here that's also creating a really hard edge as I shine my light as well. So pretty simple. You might want to do this with a flashlight. That will create some sharp shadows and show contrast for you as well if you're setting this up inside. My subject matter were just objects that I had in the house that were nearby, but you could set this up with a person if you wanted somebody to pose for you. You might want to try projecting their shadow on the wall and creating some contrast in that way. Basically, I'm just using very simple things that I have around the house to do this. So I'm going to go ahead and open that first shot and get it into the Padlet. And right now it is uploading my JPEG file. So that's my first one. And I'm just going to put a little comment in here about what this is. So this is contrast. And then I'm good with that. So contrast with my electrical wire for my lamp. And then I'm going to add my second picture here. Now, it might seem like you want to go to a snapshot, but because it's a picture that we're uploading, but that's going to put you on your webcam and you can take a picture. Now, you could take your pictures that way if you are able to aim your webcam at whatever subject matter you want to photograph. That could work as well. But however, I just was using my cell phone, and that's why I'm doing my uploading here. So one thing it's telling you to do is you can pick a file, but there's also it looks like it's telling us right here that we can drag it into here as well. So because I know my second picture is right here on my desktop, let's see if it lets me drag and drop, and it looks like it's going to let me do that. And now it's going to upload here. And so my second picture is in there. So for this picture, again, I was shining my desk lamp right on my object, and it was already set inside a very dark environment here. So, oops, I think I lost it. There it is. So it was already set inside a dark cabinet, and so that helped create strong contrast, and I made sure that the light was shining on the object itself. Again, you don't need to edit these, but I actually was in Photoshop Express, so there were some light leaks that I could add to this, so that I just wanted to throw a filter like that on there, but again, you don't need to do that. So if I'm going to go add my comment here, this is my contrasty zebra on my bookshelf. Okay, so you're going to end up putting a series of pictures in here, and then I'll be able to give you credit for this assignment. If you have any questions, you can certainly comment in the assignment post, or remember, if you want to email me, my email is in Google Classroom for you to email me any questions about this. And have fun and good luck on this.